All right, welcome back to another episode of the Bodybuilding Breakdown, featuring Josh Saunch from the Bodybuilding News Network, and we have Mark from Mark's Max Muscle. Gentlemen, thank you again for joining me. What's all going on?
The return of Saunch.
The return. I missed one.
The much anticipated return.
Yes.
Yeah, but we miss you when you're not here, though.
Oh, do I add a little bit of pizzazz?
Pizzazz is the word.
The straw that stirs the drink.
Okay. Okay. I'll take that.
I like that. Well, you were traveling, right?
I still am. Yeah.
You still are. And dedication is the name of the game, as you have your full setup in order to do said podcast as well as said videos, because you, sir, are a professional.
I'd like to think I'm trying to be.
You're on the level. You're on the level. See,
yes.
Kenson's always underwater. I'm up in the clouds somewhere, and you're right level. You're on the level.
See, there's the balance. There's the balance, right? There's the balance. We got it. No, you travel quite a distance, actually.
Yeah, we started in San Francisco, and then day one we went to Oregon, and then day two Salt Lake City, and then we went to Des Moines, Iowa, and now I'm just outside Chicago. And then tomorrow we do a long drive to Philadelphia. So yes, lots of driving. I think it's like 14 or 15 hours tomorrow.
You gonna jog up them steps at the library?
I need to do something. I haven't touched the weights or anything in.
No, but I mean Rocky.
8 days?
Rocky runs up the steps in Philadelphia.
Ooh, I might as well do it just for nostalgia.
You should, and get it on film.
Oh yeah, I could probably pay some bystander.
You could bring a tripod. You could get a quick video of yourself at the top of the stairs, the arms up. Yeah,
at least that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, black and white, of course.
Of course. No, it's a good trip so far. Philly, I'll be in Philly for a week, and then I'm gonna go to New York on the 6th because it's my 30th birthday on the 6th of October. So yes, I'm getting a little old. Yeah, no more 20s. I celebrated it with chopping all my hair off.
Look, you don't got anything to worry about because it's all downhill from here. So you're good.
Oh, well, I'm okay with it personally, but as long as the channel continues to grow, then I'll be happy. I'll have something to hold on to.
You know, usually it's me doing the traveling in particular, and I do as you do. I take the things with me that I need to take, unless I end up messing it up and forgetting power cords, as I did on one trip this year. However, most of the time, it works out pretty well. So I'm glad that you were able to join us in said fashion. So that's great. It's funny that you mentioned not training for the last 8 days, because I think I'm about to run into a little bit of that myself, unless I decide to go back to the gym I used to go to, because the plan is to do a little bit of remodeling around the house, get it ready for either sale or make it more livable. But we're going to start with a poured epoxy floor in the gym, because if we screw up the floor in the gym, then it doesn't matter as much as the other living spaces.
Yes.
Exactly. So you're thinking about selling?
I would say eventually, yeah. But even if we don't sell, the market is nuts right now, as anybody knows that's out there in the market. As of right now, we do like where we are. We do like the space that we have. We do want to upgrade these spaces in order to make it more to our standards. And although you guys are familiar with my gym, you've seen it a couple of times. I enjoy the hole in the wall. I enjoy the dungeon. I enjoy that atmosphere. There does come a point where you still want to have that underground feel. I still want to have that underground feel, but I just want it to come up a little bit, just a little bit. So we're going to start with the epoxy floor. I'll strap the walls. I'll put up something for the walls. Anyway, it's all kind of in the works right now, but I know for sure we're going to do the epoxy floor, and I'll keep everybody updated on my channel as I go. Maybe I'll update the community tab. If anybody's interested in me doing a little bit more in depth on it, leave me a comment below. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. It is going to be, I think it's going to be pretty good by the time I'm done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good now. It's going to be really good if you're going to make it better, right?
And that's the name of the game. Just as always, trying to improve. Just trying to improve the channel, trying to improve the gym, trying to improve life in general. That's the name of the game,
Well,
right?
I like what you guys are doing for your channels because you're not doing these clickbait things. Like I've seen a few channels, they focus on, say, Nick Trigilli or something like that, and do a bunch of videos on him. But then when he goes away, it's like they have to struggle to try to get the views. Where you guys, you're doing the same like quality work, like news, and keeping them like interested in it. So your views are solid and your fan base is solid. And that's not something that's just going to go away when Nick Trigilli, there's no more stories about Nick Trigilli. Or no, I'm just using him because he was one of those clickbaity. I made a few myself, of course.
Sure.
You're gonna get
We
you're
all
gonna
did.
get some views, but we're not gonna make it your main focus. It's
No.
news. You know, you updates, physique updates, things of that nature.
Yeah.
You want to keep it positive, but you want to make sure that you're very clear on your opinion of whatever it is you're covering. And that's one thing about why I think we do well with this podcast and we all do well when it comes to being on this thing together, is because we all kind of have that spin. I shouldn't call it a spin, but it is really direct when it comes to our overall positivity toward the sport and the athletes in general in our own way. So that's one thing that I always did want to accomplish with the coverage on my channel. The negativity, you can have a strong opinion and be honest without it having a negative connotation. And I find that in the last year of doing YouTube that I've really found that balance just by
Well, I mean,
making
if
videos in
it's
such a
going to
way.
pop up, you're gonna have some negativity. But I mean, percentage wise, you guys are like 80, 85, 90% positive about the sport. And if somebody get ripped off or something like that at an event, that's the only real negativity that I see. I'll
Yeah.
make the odd, cheap shot at the sport like Synthol or something like that. But the video usually makes the audience know that it's not the most of the bodybuilders. It's a small percentage of the. But I try not to do too many of those things. But they do well.
Sure.
Like even making a
Sure.
video, the worst muscle groups or the worst whatever. Like that video that I made, it did very well. And it seems kind of negative, but when you watch the video, I say it's hard to find the worst. Like everybody has the weakest body part, right? But by its very nature, it's kind of a negative. The worst genetics in bodybuilding video did better than the best genetics in bodybuilding, if that tells you
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. People hustle, or people are magnetized towards negativity. I'd say that's a huge reason why Trigilli, blew up so fast, so quick. Was that based on negativity? You can put a little bit of positivity into it, but yeah, unfortunately, people like drama. People like the tea, and I think for all three of us, it's finding the delicate balance of how to include the interesting topics, but still, BNN's whole focus: advocate for athletes, promote shows.
Well, yeah,
So,
you want to be able to go and think you can shake these guys' hands without getting a punch in the face, right?
Yep.
Which
That's it's a huge
you'd
one.
be the number one. Like I have some older videos that I watch every once in a while. I'm like, oh, Mark, you shouldn't have said that. That's greasy. But I mean, whatever. I'm sure that most people don't watch the older ones, or maybe they do. I don't know.
It depends.
But you've always
no one's
been
flying out to see
respectful.
Mark's
You've
max
always
muscle
been.
though.
What's that?
No one's flying out to see Mark's max muscle out in the woods.
Yeah. No, we're deep in the woods
No.
here.
Yeah, Mark keeps it that way. Yeah, he keeps it that way. But no, it is true. There should be more of a positive connotation when it comes to the coverage of bodybuilding, because on a global scale, and this is just my own opinion, if you keep it in such a negative light, I feel that it could hinder the growth of the sport overall. Right now, what the sport needs is that positivity in order to really have it put out there in the quote unquote more mainstream, more mainstream on a global scale, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Will negativity do that? I think in many sports, it can. Look at UFC. The negative does very well. And just like you guys said with Nick Trigili, it did very well. But did it really help grow the sport long
No,
term? I
no.
think no. I think no.
That's why you guys, with your positivity, your base, your fan base is solid.
And it's an interesting perspective because this is really one of the few places that you'll really get that perspective of us as both YouTubers and fans of the sport. This is not coming from the establishment. This is not coming from the athletes that are involved in the sport. This is our opinion essentially as fans. And this is why we really got into YouTube to begin with. Mark, you told me that you started, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you started on YouTube because your wife suggested it because you just were talking about bodybuilding nonstop and needed to know that. Wasn't that right?
Yeah, it was normally I had my wrestling buddies, right? And we would talk about bodybuilding all day long. But I quit wrestling. I didn't quit, I stopped. It wasn't my job, so I just say I quit. I stopped. But then I was just at home with her all the time talking about bodybuilding.
Yeah, Mark,
Louis
get the fuck on that
Marco
computer.
impression. Yeah, and I didn't know how to run computers. Like I can hardly but I'm used to everything. It's like a motion, you record videos once you figure it out, but I have to ask the wife for help for everything.
But you're consistent with your content. It goes up every single day. If you live under a rock in the bodybuilding world and you're not subscribed to Mark's Max Muscle, we'll leave a link in the description below to his channel, as well as our good friend Josh Saunch here. And Saunch, you were, I would think the same way when it came to starting on YouTube. I mean, it all started and stemmed from being a fan.
Yeah. For me, it was doing supplement reviews for 3 or 4 years and never getting views on it, actually. And then I kind of shifted into, I think it was the 2019 Olympia. I just wanted to share my opinion. So I started making videos reacting to the prejudging, and those videos had like.
When did you compete?
Same time.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but when did you compete before? Like,
I don't think I think I competed before I started making bodybuilding, like journalism content, but I would do like day in the life and training videos. Post workout rants was like a huge series I had right after the workout. If something ticked me off, I'd just sit in the car and rant.
Yeah.
Because you had your other channel.
Yep, that was the Saunch Bodybuilding. Yep. And then you said, as Saunch Bodybuilding disappeared, BNN rose from the ashes like a phoenix.
Yeah, no, it was a good change.
Yep.
But
absolutely,
I've seen your bodybuilding pictures, and you're pretty lean. You're pretty ripped.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And you were 100% natural, so you had a pretty decent, you got pretty decent genetics. And that's coming from me. When I say pretty decent, that's not being mean, trust me. Like, hey, he's got pretty good arms. Me saying that's like, this guy's got some arms.
Yeah,
Saunch, I think
I was lucky.
I heard you say recently that you were making more of I guess putting more of a focus on cardio and other aspects of fitness more so than just weightlifting, which I know weightlifting is always going to be a part of what you do, no different than myself and Mark. But you've been really concentrating on cardio lately. Is that right? Running in particular?
Yeah. I've been since getting out of the military earlier this year, I've been having a lot of not health issues, but a lot of pain. Even now, I have a lot of pain in my neck and my shoulder from that torn labrum that never healed. And it's been causing a lot of migraines. I get huge migraines several times a week. And I have to like sit in a room and it's dark and I can't see and I get nauseous. So it's not getting better. And I wasn't taking care of it. Instead, I was focusing on other things like trying to hit big weights and milestones and get shredded instead of taking care of my health. So I kind of made a pause to take care of Josh so that Saunch can continue. Physical therapy is going to start becoming a big thing. Deep tissue massage work to just get things released. and then cardio to get the body weight down. Because I just want to start from a better spot. I've always been like a 220, 230 dude, but if I could start maybe around like 200, maybe the decreased body weight might take off some of the pressure.
Absolutely.
So that's the theory. Yeah.
I think that's proper, especially for you being a taller guy. You know, you throw around numbers like 230 down to 200 for most people, but you're 6 foot, is it? Are you not?
Yeah, 6'3". Yeah.
6'3", yeah.
6'3".
Yeah, I knew
You're a
he- I
fucking
knew he-
monster, is what you are. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
See,
that's
yeah,
that would be a healthy weight for you to start at 200 and then be able to build from there. But yeah, you got to get the pain taken care of first. I went through some of that with, a lot of people don't know, but lobbed off the big toe on my left foot 6 years ago, lawnmower accident, and I had an amount of shadow pains that I had to go through for a number of weeks. And the psychological portion of just, losing a part of your body was difficult for a period of time. It affected my ability to work effectively. It affected my ability to dive effectively, which is in my entire career. But eventually, I did work on those mental aspects, working with my diving doctor, especially. And I was cleared to go back to work to dive, like physically, especially when it came to the phantom pains. That's all mental. Not all mental, but a good chunk of it is mental to begin with. So I was very fortunate to be able to have that mental fortitude to just say, you know what, this is not necessarily real. This is in your head. You can remove this. And it did take, just like it takes concentration on training when you're in the gym, it took training. Eventually, I didn't have them anymore. And I cannot tell you the type of pain that it was to experience phantom pain. So strange, very, very strange. Like an electrical fire type pain. It was stinging, but it was also throbbing. And typically you only have one or two. It was very strange. But anyway, I did get over that, and I'm actually a better diver now than I was 6 years ago, which is good. But yeah, we all have the things that we need to go through when it comes to some of that, and taking care of yourself to be able to get to the proper level, to be able to build to where you want to be, is very important. So I'm glad that you're taking those steps.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely not getting away from weights though. We're still going to be we're still banging and clanging, just more conscious of the form and time under tension, using intensity tactics instead of chasing big weight. Pre-exhaustion,
can't go wrong.
high reps. Yep.
It's called maturing it's
maturing.
maturing.
Yeah.
It can be, but eventually you become more mature in your training. And look, you'll have sessions when you go in every so often and you say, you know what, I'm fucking throwing some weight around today. But you'll be able to do it because you're not doing it all the time. It's not such a laser focused thing of, I got to be fucking lifting heavy in order to really make progress, right? It's training smarter. It's being experienced. It's very proper. It's good, man. You're getting to that level. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. But anyway, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, well, we're getting. I know I can't help it. I can't help it. If Mark's not going to do it, I'm doing it. That's it.
I do it in my videos at least like once or twice every few videos.
I know. I heard you do it in the last video. I did.
Yep. Funny thing about anyway, I would say it without trying to, when you used to first start your videos, you'd say or anyway. I'd keep saying it. All these people comment like, "Would you quit saying anyway?" And it's like, you get annoying when you do watch the old ones. You can hear me say it anyway. But anyway.
Yeah, the old ones, as in like 3 months ago. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to take your guys' advice. Saunch, actually, you were, I think, the one that suggested to make playlists.
Yeah.
This is I'm like 3 years in now, going back, adding all the videos to certain playlists. So I have a pile of playlists.
Oh man.
But they're private. They're all private. And I'm, doing a little bit every day, putting some on. Like when I'm all done, it'll have all the gladiator round tournaments all in one. I'm going to have all the fan requested Fridays, a whole bunch of them. I have a whole bunch of them. Like, say there's an event, like an entire event. I go through the history of the event. I have a few of those. I'm going to put those into a certain playlist. I got a Phil Heath playlist, whole bunch of them. But I'm waiting until they're complete. Then I'm going to.
Yeah, you only got like 3,000 videos to go through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only.
That's good though. The more that you, yeah, I know, right? The more that, and I'm a believer of the fact that the more that you can utilize the features that YouTube has, the more that it may push you out into that dreaded algorithm that we speak of. I really think that the more tools you can use, the more that YouTube says, hey, this guy's actually using our platform and he's using it more than, say, this guy. So I think that it can actually translate over, and this is just my own theory, but I think it can translate over into a further reach in your analytics. So we'll see what it does for you. Yeah, we'll see what it does for you. But anyway,
I get old videos that, still get views.
Well,
yeah.
Watch out for the you know what? I can't. It's a good point. Your videos can stand the test of time. And if you have them in a place that's well organized, people can go, and you could get lost in that rabbit hole of your videos, man, easily. You know, your videos, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a resurgence of some of the comparisons that you've done because of those playlists, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's going to serve you well.
There's
Yeah,
one with
that was good advice.
Frank Bain versus Mike Menzer. I did like back in 2020, and it was a dead video. And then just recently, it's like one of my, well, you know, and you have all your videos, whatever, in the last 48 hours or whatever it is.
Yep.
It's like always up in that list now. It's like crazy.
There's one of everyone versus everyone. You're Marx Max Muscle. It's what you've done for 3,000 videos. If there is not a comparison that you haven't done, it will be done. And especially the interaction with fans for the fan requested Fridays and the View Pick Tuesdays, and it's all gold, man. I'm always clicking, if not screaming in your comments section for which one I'm looking for, hoping that people. Sometimes I hope that if I put a comment there, that people will see it and be like, "Oh, you know what? I want to see that one too." All caps.
Yeah, it's fine.
This one. It is good. But listen, let's talk about the Sheru Classic that just took place. Sheru Classic, we have the results. We have crowned, well, we haven't, but the judges. I am not taking credit for what happened with that fucking show and the judging there. Good God. We'll get into it. Nathan Diasha, our winner. Third show in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I believe. Was it 3 or 4? 4. It was 4. Third show in 4 weeks. What'd you guys think? Mark, I'm going to start with you. Did Nathan show up in as good of shape as we saw in the previous 2 shows?
I believe he was close to the Europa. From what I seen, and I'm sure you guys both can concur with this, the lighting was pretty bad at the France.
Really dark.
From what I seen. But even when he turned to the side, I think his midsection was a little full. Maybe because he did look jacked. He looked jacked, but he did not look as dry as he was in Italy. I think Italy was maybe his best with what he has. And maybe his fullest look was France.
And Italy was the first of the 3 that he did.
Then Spain.
Yeah, you're going to be the freshest usually for the first show.
Now, from what I've seen, Theo Laguerrier, I'm not sure. I would have given him second place. But I wasn't there. You have to throw that in there. But I mean, usually you can concur with close-up video and pictures with the placings, and it usually does make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, sometimes there's other factors. Like Tim's peeled. He's shredded out of his mind. So I guess I can understand him beating Roman, even though I prefer Roman's physique. Now, Alfred.
Hold on. We'll get to everybody, but Saunch, I wanted to ask you about what you thought of Nathan as well.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I thought you meant like
no. Don't.
Okay.
Don't be sorry. We're going to get into everybody here.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think I'd agree with Mark for most of it. I thought Nathan looked phenomenal. Very jacked, very full. Not as crisp as what we've seen him in before, but definitely worthy of his 11th pro win at this show. I would say I thought he looked a little flat from the back in the hamstring department. I didn't see a lot of detail. I didn't see a lot of separation, conditioning. A lot of people were saying, this is his best package yet. I don't see that. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm missing something. I didn't actually get to see any of the footage from yesterday until late that night because I was driving all day. But I'm not upset with Nathan Diasha winning. I don't think there's anyone close enough in the scoring to beat him. So my overall take is that I was happy with Nathan Diasha's package.
I agree. I agree with both of you guys. And Nathan was the best bodybuilder on that stage that night. With that being said, was there stellar competition that he had to go up against? In comparison to the last two shows, I would say, well, when you look at the last two shows, the top 4 and top 5 were all very similar. However, there was no Regan Grimes. So did Nathan have any real competition that was going to push him to not take home the victory? I don't think so. Even the fact that he was off, essentially, it was still enough for him to win. Now, with that being said, we did have Theo Laguerrier in second. We had Tim Budesheim taking third. We had Roman Fritz taking fourth, and we had Alfred Chiriac taking an unbelievable fifth place. Now, Mark, I know that you were starting to get into some of the placings there. What were your thoughts on Theo Laguerrier taking second and Tim taking third?
Yeah, like I said, from what I've seen, Theo looked good. He looked good. For him, he looked maybe at his best. But I just didn't see that hard separation of Tim. And was he that big? But then again, I wasn't there. And you have to be there. But it just lingers in my mind that Theo Laguerrier is from France.
Good
And he hasn't placed ahead of these guys in all the shows, I believe. Maybe he beat Tim in Italy. Maybe.
So there could have been a political influence.
But
Call it a fan favorite.
Personally, I would not have put Theo ahead of Tim, even though aesthetically, easily. But it's just too much condition. Tim is unreal. Easily the hardest guy up there from behind.
Yeah. Saunch?
Again, I'm kind of in the same boat here. I'm a big fan of Theo. I like his flow. I like his structure. I've always said, I think in one of my videos today, I was saying I've always thought that Theo needed to put more muscle on. But when I saw him side by side with Nathan Diasha, I was actually surprised he was able to hold his own in some of the shots. Definitely not the back.
I was too.
Some of the shots.
I was too. Yeah.
Side chest he has. Good from the side. Real good.
Yeah. He's got real good width. The chest, the way he holds his chest up, nice full delts, a great hamstring drop, the glutes. I mean, everything. He definitely has better glutes than Nathan Diasha on the side. I mean, I'm just looking at the photos and it's good. It's a good shot. But this Tim Budesheim guy is just so dense and conditioned. Yeah. I can't consciously agree with the judging here for 2 and 3. And I personally really enjoy Theo. I've had conversations with him. But as a commentator, I have to be transparent. And I just think Tim had a very good complete package, enough for him to get second here.
Okay. When it came to second and third, I think really that, and anybody that saw my video on this knows, second, third, fourth, and fifth, I think the judges got wrong. I think that Roman beat both Tim and Theo, and I think that Alfred beat Roman and Tim and Theo. I cannot believe that Alfred Chiriac took 5th place. I have not seen anyone more overlooked in a lineup in any competition that I've seen in the 2023 bodybuilding season. He was shredded to the bone. He was complete. Even his tan was good. He did need to work on some posing. His side tricep he did need to work on. If I had to give him a knock, it would definitely be that. Was he as conditioned from the back as, say, Theo Laguerrier? I think that if I needed to give anything to Theo, it would be the conditioning from the back. He did have a lot of detail in the back, and it's no secret that Tim Budesheim is weaker from the back. Roman Fritz, on the other hand, is not weaker from the back, and I think that he was much more complete than both Tim and Theo. But even with that being said, I think that Alfred Chiriac showed up. Like I say it often, if you really want to secure your placing in a show, you got to show up and you got to be undeniable. And I really think that aside from maybe a little bit of size that you could ask more of Alfred Chiriac having, otherwise, I think he showed up undeniable. I think he was more complete than the other three, and I think it was a robbery. I think that they should have gave him second at least. He was severely overlooked. Patrick Tor, his coach, well, of course, his coach. Well, Patrick is not one to really speak out very often. He's a professional. But in this one, he did express his opinion of discontent. So did Ian Valier. A lot of pros did, actually. Michael DeBoll did as well. Fifth place was ridiculous, man, and I got no problem putting it out there like that. So that's what my take was on it. With that being said, and if you guys want to say more about it, feel free. I was surprised by Vidor Boff finishing where he did in this show. What did he take? Like seventh? Sixth or seventh, I think.
Did Leandros beat him?
I'm not sure if he took sixth.
Leandros got eighth. Oh no, maybe
did he get?
Okay.
I thought he got 6. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I literally just talked about it like an hour ago, so it's embarrassing. I can't remember.
He could have been a little harder from behind.
Yeah, he flew into the show.
Otherwise, he's perfect. I like his physique. I really like Leandro's physique.
He's got a great physique, and he's got a promising future in bodybuilding. But Vidor Boff was surprising. Everybody expected him to be in the top 3 at least, and he showed up, and he was not in condition. That's what it came down to.
Needs a little more balance as well.
Yep.
From the front, his wheels from certain shots, certain angles look decent, but from the front, you can see his upper body's a little bit too big.
I think I talked about him in a video talking about his physique updates. He was wearing shorts, and I'm like, and I said, if you're not showing the physique, you're hiding something.
See, they need to start like a guy like Quentin Uriah. I love his physique updates, but his back was my only concern, and it seems like he's not. He did post a couple, but he should be mostly focused on those back shots, even for his updates. If he's looking at his updates, he's going to think, okay, I need to fix that, or I need to. But if his back, rabbit hole. Sorry about that. Yes, Vitor covering up them legs. Show them.
Yep. If you got it, show it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have seen updates when I was covering Vidor Boff going into the Arnold Brazil, where he did show everything. Actually, he would show quarter turns, he would show all the mandatories. Milos would reshare his stuff. But in this one in particular, yeah, I'm not sure what he was trying to hide when it came to the legs. Well, it was pretty clear when he was on stage this time. But does he have the potential to go back and improve? He absolutely does. And I think he will. I think that we'll see an improved Vidor Boff the next time he hits the stage. And I'm still a fan of his physique. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's only young, I imagine.
I don't think he's very old.
Wasn't there one other guy? Make Ciesla?
Make Ciesla, yeah.
Oh, he's awesome. Just needs to grow. His legs are just wild.
There's somebody else there.
Well, the what's the guy? Muzi, he didn't even show up.
Oh
no, he didn't. That's right.
Yeah.
Never even noticed he didn't show up.
Yeah, I saw a scorecard and it said no, didn't show or anything, like something like that.
Mooney.
Yeah, that guy, he's got to figure it out. Muzilla.
He's got a nice physique though, much
he
like
does. He qualified for the Olympia on points 2 years ago. Last year
he was at the Olympia last year.
Yep,
he got 16th or less.
Yeah, just needs to. He's got to figure something out.
Yeah, this no point system is really starting to show since we've gone through an entire season now. How it's affecting.
We could talk a whole video on that. We could do a whole video on the point. It's a horrible decision, and it's killing the women's bodybuilding and the women's fitness division.
It's women's. There was a big women's event just yesterday, the biggest of the year.
Yep.
And that girl, I can't remember her name, the buzz cut there. She almost she gave.
Oh, Angela.
Yeah, is that her name, Angela? Yeah. She gave Andrea Shaw a run for her money.
But yeah,
Very
what
good.
Kenson was saying, the point system is definitely was not a great decision. And I don't know how they can correct that.
On paper, it seemed to be good, but it doesn't seem all the bodybuilders are like, well, I'm not going to win, so I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to take a year off.
A lot of big names. Yep.
Yeah.
Were the
On paper.
competitors were the competitors for or against, in their opinion, the removal of the point system, I wonder?
Do they get a say in anything?
No.
I don't think I've asked anyone
No.
in an interview.
Bob Ciccarello's
I
supposed to
haven't
be the
either.
rep. Nobody even knew that he was the athlete's rep.
Yeah, no one even
Quote
talks about
unquote,
that anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Instead,
No,
you got
but I
Tyler
really don't
Manning
know.
doing all the announcements.
Well,
Sid's good.
and Tyler Mannion has been very vocal this season as per some of the changes in the rules, which is good. I'm glad that he is coming forth and putting that information out directly from the source. I mean, this is the vice president of the IFBB Pro League. It's great to have that information directly from the source. But when it comes to the points system, you're right, Saunch. We could do a whole video on that. I wonder, who has this affected the most this season? Who has competed the most this season that could have benefited from the point system? I think at this point, it probably would have been Tim Budesheim and
I was going to say Roman, but Roman
Guerrier.
qualified, isn't he?
Yeah, Roman qualified, yeah.
Tim, Theo. Classic
Theo.
Physique. These dudes do a bunch of shows.
Max Charles usually does, but Max hasn't competed that much this year.
Besides the Masters,
no.
yeah. He's been,
Just
he said he was going to take the whole year
Rodriguez.
off, and then he announced he's doing Masters.
Yeah, he's doing Legion.
Oh, really?
But really,
oh, wow.
But who else in the Open aside from, like, is there anyone else aside from Theo or Tim that has competed multiple times this year?
What's his name? He plays second in Vancouver against Hassan.
Yes. Why is that escaping me? Come on.
No, you guys are
Ross, right?
No,
Ross qualified. Ross
he
from
did
California.
Yeah.
Yes. French. He's a French guy.
It's Le something.
Come on, Stanimal.
Stanimal. Yeah. Okay.
God. Now there's a guy. Yes, he did do a few shows, didn't he? Yeah.
And he's second in Brazil as well. Like, he's got a bunch of good placings this year.
See, now that's interesting. Maybe if the points were, you only get points for second place or something like that. Would that make more of a meeting them halfway?
Top three, I don't know. Something
interesting.
Instead of having, that many points, you really have to be worth putting in there. Because if you're not getting second places, or like you said, third, top three, there's been pretty tight. It's usually a tight top 3 or 4.
I think top 3 would be fair.
But lessen the points system instead of getting rid of it altogether.
Or just get rid of the tier system. They could have done that. Because no one gives. I've spoken. I don't want to talk crap about the New York Pro, but no one gives a crap about the New York Pro anymore. Like, when you win that show, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Especially with the point system gone, you're not getting more points. Because second place used to get more points than compared to a smaller show.
Used to be the biggest show of the year.
Between the New York and then I think Texas was trying to be one of the big boys.
The biggest now.
Yeah, Texas.
I like that. I think
Texas and Tampa are big shows.
Well,
Chicago's
Texas is actually,
I don't know anymore. It's kind of cursed.
Yeah, Texas is actually, they made the announcement that they will be transitioning from the Texas Pro to, it's going to be an entire weekend event, such as a Fit Expo, similar to what you would, not that big, but similar to what you would see to, like, the Arnold Classic, where they have an expo, and there's going to be more to it when it comes to the Texas Pro. I think you're right about the New York Pro.
Well, they raised the purse. They raised the purse to the Texas.
They did. Yeah, they did. And that is very proper as well.
It's a new show.
It is. But when you think about, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, going through some of the shows and some of the competitors from this season, it may have not just the guys that would have benefited from the points now, but who would have continued to compete in order to have that benefit. Who else did multiple shows this year? I'll tell you one guy that did, Beef Stew. Stuart Sutherland.
Did he do 3?
He did 2. He did the New York Pro and he did the Cali.
Yeah.
And he finished within he was fourth place at the Cali, I think, behind Sergio and Tonio. So there would have been a situation where if you just did the top three with points, that he wouldn't have benefited from that. But the New York Pro, he could have just done that show and said, well, hell, I just placed very highly at this show. Even if he took fourth in the Cali, he could have gone on. Tell me that Beef Stew wouldn't have taken a top three spot in Vancouver, you know? Tell me that he wouldn't have been fighting for a top three spot. You know, he would have been fighting for a top three spot. Same thing with Toronto. You never know. Same thing with Toronto. He could have qualified on points as well, right? We could have seen him at the Olympia. That's a good possibility. And that was early in the season. So he could have gotten his points, potentially got the qualification, and then went back to make improvements in order to hit the big stage.
Yeah, I like his future.
Maybe
anyway.
there might.
I do like his future.
Absolutely. But maybe there might be.
You mentioned Sergio as well.
Yes. Now, there's a guy that probably would have continued to compete as well.
Did he do 2 shows? Or just the one?
I can't even remember.
I
think it was just one.
I thought he did 2.
No, he did the one, and everyone told him, or everyone was anticipating, I guess, that he was going to go on to Toronto, and he didn't do it.
Yep.
So maybe there is something to the point system, and maybe it just needs to be, revisited in order to make it more proper. Now, with that being said, of the guys that we just mentioned, even consider the guys that if they would have gone on to continue to compete, Beef Stew, Sergio Oliva Jr., and Tim Budasine, Theo LaGuerrier, would any of these guys have been a factor on the Olympia stage when it comes to that, even say top 15? Would any of those guys have placed in the top 15?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
I'd have to know what my top 10 looks like. And then just be like, okay, well, the 10's taken, so can they make it into the placings? 11 to 15. That's the question. I feel like top 10 is taken.
Yeah, you got
I do too.
You got Jack, you got Hunter Labrada, you got
so much good talent, dude. I'm so excited for the Olympia. I'm so excited.
And we'll talk about Phil will be down there.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Olympia. We're only 5 weeks away from the Olympia. We're talking about the Olympia, but when it comes to any of these guys being a factor of the 4 that we just mentioned in the top 15, I don't think so. And when you think about it like that, perhaps that is part of the logic behind removing the point system, because are these guys adding any benefit to the competitiveness of the lineup? However, from a business perspective, would any of those guys add any amount? It was argued, or it was speculated, I guess you would say, that Regan won against Nathan in order for him and his 1.9 million followers on Instagram to go to the Olympia and be a draw, right? Sergio Oliva Jr.
You're going to go meet Regan Grimes, whether he places 16th or 15th.
In that vein, Sergio Oliva Jr. would be a good addition to the Olympia lineup, regardless of. So, and this is a very, very competitive Olympia this year. There is absolutely no question that we are about to see one of the most competitive lineups.
I think it's good for the Olympia. It would be. But it's not. I think you gotta take into consideration you have an entire year of events. Would you rather your entire year of events do good, or your Olympia do a little bit better? I think for a business point of view, you'd want your whole year to be more competitive and interesting, and have those guys competing all the time.
Well, like you said, when it comes to it being interesting, the point system did add a level of interest throughout the entire year, because somebody else was coming in, even if they don't win. If they take second, if they take third, they're going to get the points. They might get to the Olympia even though they don't win, right? So that did add a level of interest for the fans. And that's through the whole season.
An advantage. The Olympia is a different stage. It's an advantage to guys like I know I always talk about Max Charles, Justin Rodriguez. These guys don't care what event it is. They're gonna give you 100%. But a guy like Sergio Oliva maybe, or Ian Valliere might let the nerves get to him or maybe a Crizo. because they might let the event overwhelm them. Whereas another guy
Yeah.
might not even, I'm going to bring like Roman Fritz. Roman Fritz. Is it?
Chill as a
Roman.
cucumber.
Yeah, he's going to be Roman Fritz at the Olympia, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think they've been really screwing Roman lately because he's already qualified. I mean, he's so impressive.
He's consistent.
Getting back to the
he's
France,
one
bro.
of the, yeah, no, he is. He's one of the most consistent guys up there, and he is a fan. He would be a fantastic addition to the Olympia lineup if he won a show. He would be a fantastic addition to the Olympia lineup because he did 5 shows this year. Actually, did I hear he might be competing next weekend for the 2024 Olympia qualifier? He might be.
The Legion?
No, there's another one. There's another show.
Oh, the Olympus in Italy.
Yes, I think that's a 2024 qualifier.
You might be right. I think when's the cutoff? Is it October 7th or?
Oh, Brett Wilkin did that last year. So there's another name that we're not even thinking of.
That's
Brett
right.
Wilkin, yeah.
Yep, that's right. Is he going to be a factor in that top 15? Brett Wilkin is looking pretty ridiculous. You know what? We should talk about the Olympia because, like I said, the Olympia, gentlemen, is essentially upon us now. We have one more qualifier when it comes to the 2023 Olympia, and after that, that's it. We've got a month, and then the show is here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing the updates roll out now from all of the top guys. Even Hadi Chupin has been throwing out the odd update, right? It's going to be just as stacked of a lineup and just as competitive of a lineup as what we all came to expect from really the Olympia last year. The hype was on for the Olympia 2023 the second after the Olympia 2022, and especially when the Arnold rolled out and we saw Samson and Nick and Andrew Jack showed up.
Funny you say that. That's funny you say that because as soon as Hadi Chupin won, I thought in my mind, oh, next year Derek can win. Or that's funny you say that. The second that Olympia was over, it's like, oh, next year's gonna be wild because anything can happen.
Yeah.
And the things that we were wanting to happen, some of them have come into fruition. We said Derek Lunsford needs to improve. Derek Lunsford has definitely improved. Has he really made the improvements that we are awaiting to see on stage when it comes to some of the chest striations and things like that? That remains to be seen. But from a size standpoint, the dude is fucking massive. Like, it's ridiculous the size that guy put on. Yeah. He does look big. So that top 5, like we were saying, well, Saunch, you were saying, the top 10, man, is going to be a tough nut to crack and a huge, huge accomplishment for any competitor that can make it into that top 10. Why don't we talk about? Let's talk about the top 5. I feel like there's a general consensus of who's going to be in that top 5 right now. Some people mix between 5th and 6th. Don't worry, Mark. Look. See, this is part of the excitement. This is part of the excitement. There are a lot of people out there
down when you say their names.
Well, look, and this is just part of it, right? When it comes right down to it, the 5th and 6th place, I feel, is kind of mixed between a couple of competitors at this point. But definitely when you talk about the top 4, there is a general consensus of who's going to be in that top 4. Now, from what I've been seeing and from what I've been hearing, it's Hadi, Nick Walker, Derek Lunsford, and Samson Dowda. That's the 4. That's who I have been hearing is going to be your top 4. Agreed? Disagreed?
You say Hadi, Nick, Derek, Samson?
Yes. And that's who I think is going to be the top 4 as well.
That's the most likely.
Yeah. That's what the pro league, I think, is going to decide on. Yeah.
Unless it's undeniable that somebody else.
Unless someone's off. Yeah. I mean,
someone's like, wow, that's right. Yeah. That is assuming everybody's on.
Yeah. If Brandon Curry shows up and adds 6 inches to his legs, I mean, boom.
There's a guy that I definitely think people are underestimating how good he's going to look.
If those physique updates are the interview he did with Xavier, that exclusive one-on-one, shout out to Xavier on Desktop Bodybuilding. If those are up to date, I'm going to stop talking smack about Curry. I'll tell you what. I thought he looked pretty good.
Just stay tuned for my predictions.
Oh, okay. Your 5 weeks out prediction, and then your 4 weeks out, and your 3 week out.
Oh,
Might
yeah.
as well. I mean,
do a couple
us
of them.
commentators are so bipolar. Like it's you
Well,
never
what I
know.
do,
Like,
what I'll do is I do like call outs. I'll do a call out. I'll say
Yep.
this is going to be the groupings, and then next week we'll give you your
and then you'll
prediction.
drop the numbers.
Yeah, we'll drop it.
Oh, I love that. When you did that last year, I was like, I very much enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, I think as soon as the last guy gets qualified, I'll probably throw something together.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when Charles Griffin gets qualified, gotcha.
His name, they'll have the name Charles in there anyway.
Yeah, well, the Legion is going to be one that we can talk about, in a little bit more detail once the competitors list comes out. We can jump on another one here, but I'm
Definitely.
I'm feeling pretty confident about Charles Griffin. But aside from the last qualifier, like I said, that 5th place spot is going to be mixed up. And
Yes.
look, we don't have to. And what I don't want to do here is, because there's like you said, Saunch, us commentators are bipolar. It's going to change as we continue to see these guys shred down, and we're all going to give our official predictions a little bit closer to the show. But for now, generally, who we think might be in those areas is probably fair to do. Sanch, did you bring your fucking cat with you?
No, this is my travel companions cats.
Okay,
I'm helping one of my
Perfect.
friends move, so they brought 2 cats and a dog. I
Hey,
did not bring
look,
my
man.
cat.
Okay.
That would be
checking.
wild.
Totoro, yeah, that would be wild, actually. Yeah. Anyway, when it comes to 4th, like we said, we pretty much got a consensus on that. But 5th, 6th, and even 7th is kind of up in the air between a few guys.
You got a 7th?
Nick has been, well, kinda.
I got 5th and 6th. The 2 guys there. One's Brandon, and who's the other one?
I feel like 5th, 6th, and 7th has been mixed up for me between. I mean, see, it's hard to put Nick Walker below 4th place, but the way that some of these guys are looking, I mean, the improvements that Sampson, Derek, and Hottie have. Well, I don't know about Hottie, but I think he's top 3 shoe-in.
Yeah, I think those
But
guys are set top 4. But I think 5th and 6th it could be interchangeable between Curry and one other guy.
Andrew,
I
right?
won't. Yeah, Andrew is the X
who I have
factor
in
there.
mind. Him beating Hunter kind of showed that he's got the stuff to.
Yep.
He does.
Then what? Like, is it a Hunter and a Krizo battle then?
This is just it.
Is Krizo
This
going
is
to
what
be on?
bodybuilding's all about, baby.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, you know it. This is what we do. Yep. No, you're right. I've seen people say, I've had many people in my comment section say Krizo's top 6. Either top 6 or top 8 is what I see the most of when it comes to Krizo. Is that giving Krizo too much credit for this season? I'm not sure, but that's what people are saying.
See, Krizo, he's unbelievable, but it is the Olympia, and they work them longer and harder, and it is more overwhelming. And I think Krizo is one of those guys that he might not be the best in that aspect. Like a little show, he'd go in, boom, done, take the trophy. But this is a little different. This is a different world for him.
It is. They say that you go to the first Olympia and you enjoy yourself. You get the first one under your belt. You place where you place. The second Olympia, it's all work. You've done that. You've been there. You've got the experience. And one thing I know that Krizo has been doing is more posing, and he's also been doing, thank God, he started doing cardio this year, because the guy didn't even do fucking cardio before this year. He didn't do cardio, and he got in that kind of shape. You can't be an effective poser at the highest level without cardio. You can't. You do have to pose.
You got to pose. Posing is cardio. It's the best cardio you can do. Look at Kai Green.
Round
Kai
after
Green would
round
always
after
pose after he works out. He would always pose. And for a great big thick guy, he didn't get worn out a lot. Didn't seem.
But it does give you that cardiovascular endurance when it comes to cardio as well. There is the benefit to posing from cardio. You have to. Sanch, you've done competing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
yeah, if you don't pose, you're just gonna sweat, and when you sweat, your tan runs, and that's all you can think of. That's all people. When my last show, the commentator actually commented on everyone sweating so much because I was just dripping down the center of my chest, and I had to just. I mean, you see people do it on stage, but you're just correcting yourself the whole time.
Macho Man. Oh
man,
yeah.
remember the Arnold Classic Brazil? Everybody was sweating bullets at that show. I couldn't. There
That
was
was,
more
yeah.
Or
sweating on
Yosef.
stage at that.
Was it
Oh
Yosef?
man, yes,
Yeah,
Joseph
big tall guy.
Vettin.
Yeah.
Yes,
But he
yes.
wiped it off, and he did good. That was the first one we did. That was the first.
It was.
Yeah,
It was. Yeah, yeah.
One of them.
But he wasn't the only one. Everybody on that stage was sweating. Beirut Tabani was sweating.
Mhm.
Man, I hope he makes it this year too. I don't know if he's gonna. But you know what? Let's assume that he does. Where does a guy like Beirut Tabani fall in the Olympia lineup?
He's a wild card. To be honest, he could beat guys like Brett Wilkin. I don't know.
He can place.
He can place.
Yes.
He might get lost in the pack.
So that's where we
but
start. Yeah.
Yeah, he can place. I think he can place as well. Is he a top 10 guy? You really got to see him in that lineup. And that's one of the reasons that I want to see him in that lineup. As
top
of right
10,
now,
we just named 5 and 6 and 7 with Krizo.
Yeah.
You got to throw Hunter
Labrada's
in
got to
there.
be in there
That's 8.
somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
8. There's 8 right there. So the top, if you're going to get in the top 10, you're going to have to beat Griffin.
You have to
He
beat
hasn't made it yet,
Wilkins.
you're going to have to beat
Yeah.
You have to beat
Wilkin.
Presty. You'll have to beat. Oh my
Beirut
God.
did beat Wilkin before, so he can
Okay.
take him.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, the 8th, 9th, and 10th is really
Nathan.
Nathan. Yep. Nathan's a top 10 guy. Yep.
Regan. Yep.
Nathan's
Regan.
going to beat a lot of guys to get in that top 10.
Yeah.
He's going to have to beat Charles Griffin.
Probably.
And Brett Wilkin.
Yep, probably. That top the 8th to 10th spot is really almost just as difficult to pick as 5th, 6th, 7th, you know? The first
we're not
4
looking
is
at the list either.
Yeah,
we're
not even looking at the list.
Tonio Burton, for goodness sakes. You got
Tonio Burton
Hassan
is another
Mustafa.
one. Yeah, Hassan is another one. Like, oh man. And there's so many X factors there. If Hassan shows up, shredded out of his mind, I mean, where does that guy go? Like, he could 7th to 8th is an extreme possibility if he shows up shredded. But I mean, he's got to be shredded, which he was that one show when he was working with oh God, who was it? Cement Factory, I think it was. That one show where he really showed up shredded. If he brings that to the Olympia stage, there's a guy that's going to be fighting for that top 10. Ross Flanagan is another guy who I would not be surprised seeing how he's looking lately if he pushes for that 10th place spot. Honestly, he is looking really
Can he beat
good, man.
Justin Shire? I like Justin too.
Another name.
He's a real wild card. Him and Diasha have kind of like that same crazy X factor or X taper.
They do.
It's gonna be such a good Olympia, guys. I'm excited.
It's gonna be unbelievable.
I'm gonna be caffeinated, just rolling around there, just hovering. Just, hey, you got a minute? You got a minute? You got a minute?
Yeah, and you're gonna be there too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Be there.
I'll be there at midnight waiting for people to get out of tanning to get those, like the Ian Valier interview I had last year and Rafael Brandeo. All those interviews were at almost like 1 a.m. after tanning.
The Milos, the Milos interview, that was a good one.
That was really lucky. That was after finals, and I was just waiting in the horde of all the other fans, just waiting for people to walk by. And RX Muscle was doing interviews right next to me, so I just dropped my bag and set up right there and just looked for people I recognized. And I saw Milos. I was like, "Oh, I know he likes to talk."
Oh yes, he's a cool
rewatch
guy.
that interview. It was
like
so
Milos.
cool to see everyone in the background. Jake Cutler walked by. Paul Lazan, he waved at me. He smiled.
Yep.
And then Tyler Mannion. I mean, everyone was going through. It was a special moment.
Yeah, I'm jealous I'm not going to be there, honestly. I did not have it really come into the cards this year to be there. But at the same time, my channel is still only in its infancy, I feel, and being able to cover it from here will help when it comes to the channel in particular. The experience of the Olympia, I would definitely not trade that, and I will be there one of these years. This would have been the year, man. This would have been the year. This is going to be the best year. This is going to be unbelievable, man. This is going to be unreal. But we'll all have the full coverage as always, and you especially, Sanch. I'm really looking forward to your coverage. I mean, you got a lot of great interviews, man. You, like I said, Milos was a really good one. Sergio Oliva Jr. That was a really good interview that you did too. You know, that one was great. You did some awesome interviews.
Jamie Joe Hall, the ones we did at the expo, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Jamie seems like a nice guy.
He was so intellectual with the interview. I was super impressed.
He's got that incredible British accent as well. Yeah.
Yep. And I interviewed Angela Yeo right after she placed second in women's bodybuilding.
Yep.
At the expo.
I keep forgetting her name. Her name.
Well, they messed up her name on the scorecard last year. It was Angela Teo. The Olympia.
Second or third last year?
Wow.
Second. Yeah.
They screwed up a lot of stuff at the Olympia last year, though. Like the timing was just ridiculous no wonder everybody
backstage. Yeah. People had to walk out in like freezing temperatures to get on stage. It was wild.
Yeah, it was Sergio that told you about some of that stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is the Olympia. Why are these guys not like even Wesley Vissers, like he just did the Dubai show, and he said that the backstage experience at the Dubai show, not to misquote, but he did say that there were better aspects to the Dubai show backstage than there was even at the Olympia, you know?
I believe it.
And that's really saying something. Yeah.
I heard those shows are done perfect.
Well, the Olympia is at the same venue this year. It's in the same place. So hopefully they learned some lessons from last year. And
no, it's going back to Orlando this year. That's what makes it exciting.
Exactly. But it offers the same venue
they've used before.
So hopefully they just for years, but no, hopefully they are able to work out those kinks, or they have the kinks worked out from last year, and the athletes can have a better showing, essentially, because it being so late and the timing being so off, you had guys backstage that were like, what do I get in a meal now? Am I going on stage in a half hour? Am I going on stage in an hour? It could have cost some guys some of their look. It could be a percentage or two, but man, that counts when it comes to the biggest stage in fucking bodybuilding. So I mean,
you need to know exactly. You give yourself time. Like you'd probably want to rest
and all kinds of stuff.
You'd probably want to like have a rest, because when you wake up, you probably feel bigger and fuller.
Yeah, and you don't want them to be on their feet because then the legs get all watery. There's so much strategy competing. People just don't get.
You got to have every little detail just perfect. You know, it's like that's the
what you want to know. No. What you want to know is exactly when you're getting on stage, and that is something that if the Olympia can't stick to a schedule, such as time for each competitive class, I mean, come on. You only get so much time to do routines and awards and things like that. They can certainly stay on a better time schedule than being off by, what was it, a couple hours? I think it may have been an hour at least.
Yeah, it was wild.
Crazy.
That has to be worked out this year, and I really hope that it is.
There's too many competitors.
Yeah, way too many.
All of the divisions, they had 50, 60.
Yep. Men's physique and bikini are going to be wild. Classic's going to be wild this year. Yep. I'm not even going to watch. I'm going to say it now. I'm only watching Men's Open, Classic, 212, and then Danielle's watching women's bodybuilding. Every other second of the show, I'm going to be out in the media booth doing edits.
Yeah, man.
Doing interviews. It's just
I'd like to get the women's physique and the women's open if I was there. But the other divisions, I'd probably be like, well, I don't need to.
Yeah, no, it's just too much.
It's gonna be a good
I'd be willing to do women's fitness if I had a lead female fitness correspondent, like if Abby Bolton was there or someone like that. If someone like that was there that could do all the interviewing and I could just record them reacting, sure. But I can't give my opinion on 5 or 6
Yeah,
different divisions.
you're only one guy. It's pretty hard. Even when I was
Yep.
trying to get into all of the women's divisions, it was hard mentally to remember all of these names, and it's like, I only got so many brain cells up there left.
Right. Yes.
So
Left.
it's
That's the
actually
big one.
easier to focus
Left, yeah.
on divisions that I do. 212, I'm trying to get better at. Classic. But men's open is why people watch my channel. So I have to
Yep.
focus. I have to give that division the most love, because without that division, I wouldn't have a channel.
No, and that's me as well. Actually, 212, I'm trying to step up a little bit more in my game for 212 because I do think it's going to be an exciting 212 division this year as well. I was talking with Kareth Bajo. He's going to come on the channel here before the Olympia.
Insane, man.
Yep. So I was talking to him, and he's going to be on the channel here soon. I'm going to get him on this week, and that's a guy that could be pushing for one of those top 3 spots at this year's Olympia. Make no mistake, So I'm really, really looking forward to having a chat with him. It's going to be really good.
He's
So
awesome.
Have you had him
he's
on, Saunch?
fantastic.
I was the first person to interview Kareth. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I was his YouTube cherry.
Yeah, I knew you had him. You had a few of them on there.
Yeah. Well, I had a huge streak of 212 guys. I really do want to get back to it. It's just time management,
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can only
I've talked with Kareth a lot
country
of
right
it.
now.
Yeah. I've talked with Kareth a lot about it. Like, it's just, you got to treat this YouTube channel like a business. You got to do what people want to watch. Maybe not exactly what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. No,
that'll come in
I
time.
enjoy all aspects about bodybuilding, but yes, I know what you mean. You have to focus on the ones that are, especially if you're trying to make a living off of it.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to grow it, even if you're trying to grow it.
Because otherwise I'd cover like natural shows. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like the Ben Weider naturals, like those shows I'd like to cover. And even like you look at like the OCB or the WNBF, like
poor Ben Weider.
Small...
They give him that because he was obviously natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, when it comes to views, everybody wants to see it. They want to see open, they want to see classic, they want to see 212.
Classic is good.
Classic is good. Yep, you're right. Classic is
for
good.
Views. I mean, for views, is people
as long
really
as it's the big names. Yeah.
They need more
and,
big names.
I think that you're going to see a few more after this year's Olympia that'll end
you
up being bigger names.
You have your Ramon, your Urs, and your Terrence. It's like that size name. We need to expand that. Throw in like Mike Somerveld,
Wesley Vissers.
Wesley.
Throw
that
Summerfeld.
Star power.
Yes,
they need to
Michael
build
DeBull,
personalities and storylines. That's what I think bodybuilding journalism is missing. Is you've got all these cool things like Primetime Muscle and RX Muscle and Wings of Strength, but there's not a lot of storylines coming out, which I think would be a lot more interesting. Like Regan versus Nathan Diasha, that should be a interview where all 3 of them are sitting down talking and like building hype. Or Crezo versus, I don't know, someone else.
That's the other thing is I hope they go back to doing the press conference the way they traditionally did it.
For the love of God.
Yes,
please.
I know. Stop ringing the fucking bell at a press. Like, just don't. They tried it. It didn't work. Go back to the original press. Like the original press conference.
Was terrible. Last year was terrible.
Bring back the suits. And
they had what's his name out there? Blessing Awadabu. What was he doing in that supposed first call out group?
Getting clicks.
That was not, that was a debauch. They didn't even have Samson Dowda in that group. It's like, so we're safe to assume Samson's not going to be in the first call out, and Blessing is.
Yeah. The thing I liked about the original press conference is that if it had been the original press conference, then Samson would have gotten a chance to have a couple of words. Typically everybody gets a chance to have a couple of words when it comes to those top guys. They've gone through the entire season. They've earned their qualification. They deserve to have a couple of words before they step on stage.
I like the bickering too, myself, personally.
Fun.
Somebody would say something. Phil Heath said, Sean Roden,
Igor.
you're going to be the same Eeyore looking expression. And I wish Sean Roden had a thought to say, I may look like Eeyore in the face, But your belly looks like Winnie the Pooh's.
It would have been good.
You know,
something like that.
you know, Chris Aceto, he posted up a picture of Eeyore after Sean won the Olympia.
You should have
On his
put Phil's face on Winnie the Pooh's body.
That would have been good, but no, he actually posted just a picture of Eeyore on his Instagram.
That,
yeah, that was good. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I like how Roden didn't say nothing. He kind of just sat there.
Yeah, he knew what he had.
Hey, he knew. Yeah, he suffered. Yeah, it's been warm around here. No, he suffered to get into that condition, man. Like he had his hardship. The travel back and forth from where he lived to the gym in order to train down there with who was training him? It was either Charles Glass or Psycho Lewis. It was one of them anyway. But yeah, he suffered through that show to really win, man. Stanimal was a training partner, I believe, you know.
Yep.
You know, may Sean rest in peace. But yeah, this Olympia is going to be definitely one for the history books, just like one was last year. We're really, really going to be in for an exciting Olympia. Saunch, I'm really excited for you to be there. I can't wait to see your coverage. Me and Mark will be here batting it back and forth. I'm sure we'll all be shooting each other messages back and forth, you know, as things go. Anyway,
in the chat. Yep.
Saunch, who you talking to now? Who'd you find? Saunch, you got to look over this guy. Like,
I just saw Jay Cutler. I'm hunting him down.
I'm living vicariously through you right now. Come on.
Yeah. Man, if I had a third person, I would just have someone do an Instagram live where you could just follow me around with like a phone on a battery bank.
Yeah,
I was hoping Brant from CPC Bodybuilding. I was hoping he was going to come out, and I was hoping you, Kenston, were to come out as well. And then we'd have like a trifecta of YouTubers, and we could all just swap the camera around for who's recording what. Everyone would get cool interviews. That would be
the best thing.
Hey, Arnold 2024. That's all I'm saying. Or Detroit Pro 2024. That's pretty close to Canada.
Man, the Arnold wouldn't be the Arnold is not far off, man. I mean, I didn't even think about that.
It's easy to get press passes too. YouTubers can get press passes for that.
Okay. I didn't even consider that. Maybe we'll have to chat. We'll have to chat.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fun. More the merrier, you know.
I'm gonna shoot for the Toronto Pro myself.
Oh, you're gonna drive there on horseback?
Maybe not this year. Yeah, horseback.
Toronto Pro would be good
I
too.
Just had my driver's license renewed.
Oh man,
nice.
It was like expired.
You're a big kid now.
It was expired. My license was expired.
You got to hit up that Toronto Pro.
Yeah, I would like to try.
Well,
Vancouver's way far away though, right? You guys can't.
Yeah, Vancouver's too. Nah, it's too far.
Like
Toronto, even I could drive Toronto. Like I could do it. It'd be a long day, but I could do it.
I'm closer to England than Vancouver.
Yeah,
no, we are.
It's amazing.
We are.
Yep.
Arnold, UK be a good show.
We're right on the coast
someday.
You're even closer, Kenson.
Yes, I am
closer to England.
Yes, I am. No, I used to do the travel from fucking northern BC when I was working out in the oil patch. I would do the flights home every like 6, 7, 8 weeks to come see Kristen and the kids. Well, the one kid at the time. Yeah, it was a long flight. Like you'd be 5 hours, you know, just from Vancouver to Toronto and then Toronto to home. Yeah, it was a rough go. It was a rough go. But no, look, you know what, guys? I'm gonna call that one right there. Like I said, we got the Legion. We're going to be talking about the Legion here. We'll get the official competitors list coming out. And 5 weeks away from the Olympia, there's still a ton more to talk about. We'll get into it on some upcoming bodybuilding breakdowns. But again, Marx Max Muscle, Josh Saunch from Bodybuilding News Network. Thank you again, gentlemen. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really enjoy having you. Every time we do one of these, honestly, I enjoy it more and more every time. So this is one of the most exciting times of the year for us to get this stuff in. So we'll do it here again soon.
I'm available a lot.
A lot. As always, gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll be chatting.
Thank you.
See you guys.